Hello and good afternoon, good day, good evening, good morning, wherever in the world you are. I'm Gabby Burt. I'm Managing Director for The Journey, have been with The Journey and Brandon Base for 27 years now. And welcome to our little program called Real Talk. Real Talk came into being by bringing everyday situations, everyday themes, conversations into this context and talking about what's current in the world right now, what's current with us, what comes into our lives on a regular basis. And this week's Real Talk is, I'm very, very delighted to say that a dear friend of ours, a dear friend of mine, Shani Lehrer, is my guest. And we are talking about something very, very special. It's like, at a time like this, how do you keep your presence? How do you keep connected to the love, light, and presence that we are, and remain positive with so much tumult, with so much chaos going on in the world? And I thought Shani would be the perfect discussion partner for today. So let's welcome Shani onto the screen. Hi, Shani.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi, Gabby.
We've known each other for at least 11, if not more years, and we know each other through the journey. And you've done the full program with us, with Brandon, but you have kind of moved on to amazing things. You are known as an international speaker, a healer, a mentor, as a practical mystic. You are into sacred geometry. There's so many beautiful aspects to your life, Shani, and so I just really felt like having this conversation with you. You are born in Belgium and have a very, very strong connection to Israel. I believe your mum was Israeli, and so you share your life nowadays between the UK, between Israel. You come and stop off in Greece from time to time, not often enough, I may say. And so this is just an opportunity to speak about where we're at right now, and I don't know if you saw, there was a program streamed a couple of weeks ago, and it was called The Critical Mass of Love. And so many speakers from around the world were present, and everybody contributed in a way of reminding us of what is necessary for us to maintain the light, to maintain presence. And that's the conversation I'm inviting today. And so it's ongoing, and it's I'm just going to let you do a little bit of talking, Shani, because it's something that I think we could talk for hours, and yet we want to fit it in this little cradle of Real Talk today. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's pure delight to be able to hang out like this together and touch on these huge and so important subjects that are with us today. I think there's most of humanity at the moment is asking itself how, where are we going, what are we doing, how, in one way or another. We had COVID, now we have then we had one war, a second war, there are other wars happening on the planet, so there's a lot going on. And I was reading the other day about From the Heart of Darkness, and I believe Kevin wrote a book called Light in the Heart of Darkness.
Yes, he did.
And it's said in all mystical traditions that light only emerges from the darkness. And I feel like in all the tumult somehow that's going on right now, it is so important for us to always ask, where is the light here, and how is it serving us? If there is any way in which this is serving us, how is this serving us as humanity, to wake up, to grow, to love each other more, to come together more? There's so many ways in which, sadly, adversity teaches us to remember who we are, or reminds us that actually love is the strongest and is where we want to go. So, that's the first reflection I have on this today.
I think, Shani, I'm also what I often think of is, you know, we have so many situations in life on a regular basis, whether they are, you know, you can add natural catastrophe, you can global warming fits into, politics fits into that. And sometimes things happen where you just shake your head and it's like, why, you know? And yet sometimes I feel like, and I just really want to briefly mention the journey here, not from a promotional purpose, but what I have learned through Brandon and the journey, that no matter what is inside of me, what I came in with, what I accumulated through this life, it needs to come up and out. You know, I need to work through it. There is no way around it. There is no, you know, I can't shove something aside and hope it goes away by its own. I need to somehow address issues from the past. And sometimes if I look at the world at large, especially when the Middle East war started, and I thought, we are seeing the worst of humanity right now, or at a part of humanity. And sometimes it's almost, it needs to come up first before there is any chance of healing, of clearing, of kind of moving forward. It can't, you know? And so this allows me to really, what I do, and I'm going to ask you then next what you do, but what I do is I really do spend time every day to open with my own stuff, you know, with what may be coming up. If I have any resentments, if I have any judgments to anything, if I have opinions of, you know, if I take a side, and if I become aware of anything like this, I stop. I absolutely stop and ask myself, what if there was no opinion? What if I could not judge? What if I could not criticize? What if this was not my business, full stop? And then the pain feels more real, even for me. I don't need to be in Ukraine. I don't need to be in Gaza to feel the pain that's being felt there. But if I remove all of these things, all of the opinions and judgments and criticisms and blames, you know, it's like, how far back do we want to go in history to find someone to blame? But if I take all of that away, it becomes more painful, is the truth. And then in what Brandon has taught us, the darkest, the deepest, strongest, most painful emotions are the gateway to the soul.
And if we don't stop, they will continue running the show. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
interrupting you, but it's
absolutely. So that is really what I wanted to bring in at this point, because it does feel like an invitation for all of us, you know.
Yeah. You know, we could play the blame game on each other if we wanted to, and if we went back into histories and stories, and I want, maybe we can come back to this. As you were speaking, you know, and it's true, the journey asks us to stop and to look at the emotion, at the root cause, so that it is not running the show. And most of what we're witnessing, I feel, in the world right now, and I remember my mom saying this on her deathbed, bless her, she passed from cancer, and in the last days of her life, she said to me, Shani, you were right, not me, but, you know, everything you learned, back to Brandon, back to other things we've all learned through the journey, is meet your pain while it's there, because you're going to meet it anyway. And what I feel we're witnessing in the world right now is a lot of, I can't bear my own pain. Let me find someone else to blame. Let me find something to take it out on. It's like when we're driving the car and someone cuts us off and we're angry, because the anger was there before. It's not that person brought and put anger in myself. The anger was there, and therefore it gets enacted on that person. And so it's almost like it's time to take radical responsibility if we want to grow, and if we want to take adversity and make ourselves and the world better, to ruthlessly meet our own pain rather than projecting it on the other and becoming the perpetual victim, which then, and again, I say we could play the blame game on each other, and you are one of my closest friends in the world, and because of the work we do, this would never happen between us.
No.
Is that safe to say? Is that safe to say, Gabby?
Probably it's safe to say, because we go back to, I mean, I can go back in journey speak, when I've been with Brandon and the journey, as I said, for 27 years, but I was very instrumental in bringing the journey to Germany, because I'm actually by birth Austrian, and my first language or mother tongue is German. And so it was very, very beautiful for me to kind of go back to my heritage and start rolling out journey programs throughout Germany. But then 2 years later, the book was published in Israel, and I was once again in my role. All the inquiries came to me, so I was kind of the first one to go to Israel. I had never been to Israel, but my father was in the Second World War. Not only was he in the Second World War, he was an SS officer. So I had to meet. It felt like, for me in person, I had two worlds come together in one body, where I wish my father could have been a hero of a different kind, and yet he wasn't. And I could have kind of, I don't know, I felt like there were at least 2 or 3 years in that time where it felt like I was in a war inside, because all of the old stuff that I felt like Germany was going through, Israel was going through, was coming out through one body. And it was painful. And yet I feel like by allowing it all, I became neutral. And what remains when you clear out your, excuse the expression, shit, whatever that is, then love and compassion remains. And that's all there is. And even to my dad, to my family, there is so much healing has taken place in our own family. And that's what's here today. And so I always feel if one can do it, everyone can do it,
Sorry, I cannot. I cannot wait for that book to come out. And sister, I love you so much, and we have had this conversation, and I feel it's worth bringing up, because your father was an SS soldier. Half my father's family perished in the war. They may have met, we don't even know, but what we know is what's here now. Yeah. And that's the only thing. And sometimes, I think of that, and I think of us, and I think of many German friends that I have, and I know many Jewish friends that you have, many people that we have on very personal levels hurt in our life and are in our life today in completely different shapes and in love. And, it is possible, right? It is possible for us to transcend the past and not embody it.
Yes.
But rather be right here, right now with each other, in love, in friendship, in familyship, because you're nothing less than family to me. And so really, I mean, this is not new. Now everybody knows. And when I witness what's going on right now in the blame games and the going back in time and forth in time, and like we can't change that, but we can change this. Yeah, we can't bring back that time, but we can be something else now. And it takes courage, and it takes work, and it takes discipline to decide.
Yeah.
To decide to love. It's more difficult, I believe, sometimes to choose love than to choose, I'm going to just throw at someone else my anger and my blame and I'm going to shout and have opinions about things and divide even further. That's easier. That's taking out the anger. That's like taking a cup and throwing it throughout the room because I'm angry. how do we access the true desire to remember? Because kids know this. And I believe that if we put all our masters of light, if we put Jesus and Muhammad and the Buddha and many of the others, and we took the Egyptian pantheon and the Nordic pantheon, and we put them all together in one room, they would be having fun together. And they'd be looking down at us and saying, you are so fill in the blank. They would be saying, what are these people doing? This is not what we taught. We taught love thy neighbor. We taught learn through duality, remember that you are divine. And therefore the person in front of you is divine. And therefore if you treat them like anything less, who are you hurting? Yourself. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like I'm preaching. I'm like, yes,
now, I want to ask, what do you do on a regular basis? I know you have clients, you teach seminars, you create beautiful geometry in homes to create a sacred space and jewelry and it's like, but what do you do on a personal basis to keep yourself open and clear? Because we can all preach, we all know, and I believe most people who might see this interview or might see this conversation, everybody knows something, but knowing and doing or being are different things. I can know everything all day long and have a dialogue running in the back of my mind, but how do you stay clear and open into love and compassion on a daily basis? Because you are more in it than I am right now,
Yeah, sadly, in a way, and we're all in it. I feel.
I know, yeah.
So first of all, meditation. The mind, as the key to either making ourselves crazy or going further and further into the thoughts about things and what I think and where am I positioned and how am I positioned. And that mind is, as much as it's extraordinary, and we love our mind because it's creating so many things on the planet that are revolutionary. It also is a gateway, I feel, for all of our subconscious stories that are running the show, all of our past subconscious stories, all of where do I belong to and who's been bad to me in the history and who's good to me now and who do I love more and what's my opinion, so we see what we are through that mind. And so my basic first practice is meditation every morning. And I make sure to really sit and watch this mind. And a lot of times when you become consciousness, and Brandon teaches this in the journey, where you become space and you start noticing what thoughts are passing through my mind. I'm like, what is this person doing in my mind? I need to check this. And so it gives me a really great way, first of all, to declutter and to make some space.
Yeah.
And secondly, to slow down. And thirdly, to start watching, what's running the show that I haven't noticed before. And then I can start, deciding what I want to do or not do about it, or how that affects me. And of course, if emotion comes, I will sit with the emotion. And now there is a lot of emotion at this time. So, with all the pictures that we see, whether we want to or not, with all of the stories that we hear from very close, sadly, sometimes, as close as the best friend, it's very difficult to hold. And so there's a lot of crying, and I'll sit and I'll give that space. And then I'll go on, I do some rituals in the morning. I clear, I am aware that, mental energy and emotional energy, they're things, they have substance. So I change my space and I do some nice medicine, I put on some music, and I bring this space to being scintillated. I raise the frequency, I raise the vibration. And then my day starts differently. When I don't do that, I feel it. It's almost like not having a shower in the morning.
Yeah.
And then on a regular basis, and I know this, you probably do this as well. It's, if something is really stuck, if I feel I cannot get over something quickly, because it said that a pure emotion is very short, comes and goes. So if I sit with it, it should have left me, like with children, they cry quickly and then they're on to the next fun. or they're angry, and then oops, something, the next moment comes. So if we're not like this, if I get stuck, I just call you up, Gabby, or another colleague of ours, and I say, can I please, can you hold me through this for a minute? And I take care of my own system. So, any good healer needs to have healing, because we are all out there in the world meeting each other and each other's energies. So that's more or less my side. Does this answer your question? And what about you? What do you do when it gets too much?
It does. And I just want to address Liana Isian has asked a question in here in our chat, and I'd love to address that, because she's asking, and she said, how can individuals build bridges across ideological, cultural, or social differences to create a united front during chaos? Liana, if you are still here, thank you for putting this question in. And the answer is, I don't think anyone of us knows the answer to this question. I don't think there is a step 1, step 2, step 3. The only thing that I know with absolute certainty is that whatever is happening in the world right now, I need to take responsibility for my own actions. I need to do house clearing here. I need to make sure that I'm not walking around with issues hanging over my shoulders. And then I can be a vessel. I can be a vessel of clarity for those people around me. And if there were more of us, then the people around us would get it too. And then all the ones who are resting in separation, who are in a different space, the light will catch on. It is catching, it is contagious. Light is contagious, but for light will always come through. And I think we're just at a time in history, at a time in life where we're seeing, it feels like sometimes the worst gets thrown up, and I don't know how it will land. And I feel like it depends on all of us, on making the right decision for me, for my family, to take responsibility for my actions, whether that's to do with global warming and taking little steps. If that is, you mentioned love thy neighbor first. If I have any negativities about somebody else, any stuff going on with someone else, I need to do the house clearing here, because how can I expect anyone to do anything if I myself carry resentment about someone else, another country, another politician? I can't. So it needs to start here, and that is my absolute honest opinion, and one that I know that I share with most of my friends who are steeped in the journey world. This is something that Brandon teaches, and something that we can walk our talk with, and that to me is true. And so yes, I'm very, very lucky. I'm I live in a beautiful place in Greece. My husband has been on the same path as me for pretty much as many years, and if we just check in with each other, and if anybody has got anything going or running, we just kind of use that and drop through, and we participate in our own programs to make sure that we keep the light, the diamond that is the truth of who we are, is dust free, that there is nothing here. And I just wish, fortunately, there are plenty of people around the globe, and sometimes I see, I hope it's not wishful thinking, but when I really kind of open with the possibility, I just see the globe and lights kind of going on around the globe and connecting. And if those lights connect, then the people in between the lights can't escape it, because everyone, no matter where they are right now, how dark they are right now, have light inside of them. And they may not access it in this lifetime. Nevertheless, it's there, And so, yes, absolutely. So there is a regular practice. And because I'm part of the journey, it's part of my everyday life, it's kind of my walking my talk, and also just letting people know what it is we do and how important it is. And you do the same, you are on a path of healing, and you're doing so much. You're working with people individually, you're offering seminars in leadership to groups, and you travel extensively. So we're kind of busy in our own ways, promoting light, promoting healing. And sometimes I wonder, why do we have to even promote? Why do we even have to tell people that this is important? Everybody should know this,
Because we love it. Because we love it. And because everybody should do what they love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying this jokingly, but actually part of our issues are that people are not where they want to be. So we are, doing the things that someone in our past decided that we should be, or society decided, or something decided, or a subconscious made us become, and we thought we chose. And then we're unhappy, and then we're angry at everybody else because we're unhappy, but we don't know why we're unhappy. And then the quest becomes remembering what is this that now at the core we all love each other. Life is about love. Life can only exist with love. Life is based to exist upon love. I'm back to love again.
It's the only place to be.
Yeah, because this is, how do I'm resonating with what you said with the question that came up in the chat, and it's, like you said, one person at a time, the lighting of these. And I can see it as you say it, and it's and if everybody took their own responsibility and actually understood that they are important. You are important. You being, and I'm saying this to anyone listening today, you are important, and you remembering and shining your deepest potential and being who you really are is important, because by doing that we are changing things. By doing that we are coming together as a collective of more and more people who say, I'm going to love you no matter how hard it is. I'm going to decide to love, and that's going to be and I'm going to decide to care, and I'm going to decide to harm none. And I think of the ancients, Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great, and he said that there are two greatest evils on the planet that create all havoc. And the one of them is godlessness, where we forget that we are divine and that the person in front of us is of that same divinity. And the second one is mere opinion.
Yeah.
Where if mere opinion, and when I say mere opinion, it is not this that is based on facts. It is, I think that you should. And if I think that you should, and I'm not doing it right here, then I'm doing this so that I avoid the responsibility and the work that it takes to re-alchemize this into the original blueprint of what we came through as.
I know.
And that's what I feel, in a way we're so lucky, because, we get to touch on and be and share. And hopefully hearts that are on the other side of that and already doing that too can ignite, and we can all come together and become a movement, a protest for love. Can we do that?
Yeah, it's much better.
I don't know.
I like that.
Just a protest to love thy neighbor as thyself. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Maybe a love fest.
I one of the things I remembered as we were talking, Shani, was also a dear friend of ours wrote quite an extensive article on global warming, And this was before Russia, Ukraine happened. This was before the Middle East. This was just global warming a few years, I think probably about 4 years ago. It was before COVID even. And she is quite knowledgeable in this area, has studied a lot of environmental issues and knows all the names out there. And she didn't feel in this article that we had a lot of time. So what a lot of time means, I don't know. But humanity in itself, I mean, planet Earth isn't going to go anywhere, but whether we're going to eradicate ourselves or not is the question here. But one of the things that really rang true and came home to me, and she said, you know, if you had a serious illness, you would want a clean house. You want to make sure that whatever happens, that you are clear from any issues, that you have everything, met everything, cleared out everything, that you are not carrying any baggage from the past, from our predecessors, from our ancestors, from my younger life, from my childhood, that I kind of do a really good house clearing so that at least I'm fully present to what's here. And then not only for my own purpose, but when we do that, life can actually use us. You know, then creativity is so much greater. Our courage to speak up is so much greater. Our love radius is so much greater. We reach further, we reach more people. And that is an option. And I always remember that little bit of writing in her article, because I really feel it's important that we start with us, that we start here, that we do house clearing, especially at a time like this, because it's not just global warming anymore. There is so much more going on. And, you know, I know you and I sound like preachers, and I really don't want to sound like a preacher. And it is important. And I also would love to use, with your permission, Shani, just a brief opportunity to say that if this is new to you, if what we're speaking is new to you, you can come and join an entry-level event of the journey. You can do it from home, you can do it online. They take place on a regular basis. And actually this weekend now is the last one on the European and Australian time zone for 2023. It continues in the new year. But please, if anything resonates with you, if what we are saying just rings a little bell, give it a go, have a look. And my colleague has just posted a link. Just read it. And if it rings true for you, come and join us. It's never been easier. It's as powerful as it ever has been online. And it's also very, very affordable, you know. So that's all I want to say. But please give it a go. And if you have anything that you struggle with in your life, whether that's being tired, being, you know, kind of not being able to clear some of these issues, having a physical issue, anything going on, being unhappy, as simple as that, just being discontented or unhappy in your life, not happy with where you're at and what you do, give it a go. Because once you recognize and know who you are, and you know the full potential of what's available for each and every one, then life can change. And if your life can change, then the lives of those around you can change too. And I think that's the message that I would say also. And so I'm sorry that wasn't.
Can I add? If you're ready to release the what is between you and who you really are, and to clean out that is between what you're now and who you know, and that pain, that's the gap, then I mean the journey was and will continue to be, for me at least, one of the most transformative tools that I have met, and the first. And you know, I go back to it again and again and again and again, consistently, because it is so good in clearing out these these original, these subconscious, these drivers that we don't know are driving our life. So I'm sorry, maybe I'm promoting too much, but this is what we need, basically do it. That's what I have to say. And this was not a promotional talk, but I feel like, when we have something that's really good and works, we better share it. And this is true for everything in life. Share it. And that's also about love. Whatever you have that works for you, share it.
Please,
yeah,
absolutely. That is something. If somebody is here who is already a journey practitioner or who has done the journey, and you know of someone who is stuck right now, who is unhappy right now, who struggles with something in life, let them know. Speak from your own direct experience, and let's just share the light. I really feel like it's time for all of us, for those of us who are aware of it, who do regular house clearing, to share the light and share the love, and continue what we do. Is it enough? I don't know. Am I reaching enough people? I don't know. I can only do what I do and feel what it feels like. And very often there is just a causeless joy, gratitude, and happiness here, not for any other reason than just being alive, just being present to what is, and opening in compassion. And yes, and when pain shows up, then pain is also welcome in this. Everything is welcome. Any final words from you, Shani? I feel like I've done all the talking. I'm sorry.
An invitation. An invitation to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's to all of us. It's to me, it's to all of us, really. I would say an invitation, if we're about shining your light in the face of anything and everything, and it's really staying there, being that parent that maybe sometimes some of us didn't have, being that loving presence that says, okay, I'm right here with you, we're going to get through this. And then putting in the decision and the discipline to show up for ourselves and for each other. And so, for me, it's a prayer that anyone who's here with us, take that reflection back home and maybe go a little bit deeper than what is comfortable, and a little bit further out of comfort zone than what it was up until this point, and see what happens. And you may be surprised, because I know, and I know you know this, Gabby, that through that pain there is so much potential and so much joy on the other side of it, in the most difficult of situations. And throughout history, we've had people, leaders and visionaries, who went through extraordinary hardship and came out the other side to tell their story of a joy beyond anything they could have imagined. So I wish that upon all of us, and may we have peace from that. May we be living beacons of peace and peace and peace and peace, and may that peace spread and somehow miraculously transform our planet along with it.
I think all I can say to this is amen to that. That's so be it. And thank you so much, Shani, for the beautiful words. And I think this is all of our prayer, and stepping into the prayer and letting it do the work through us, and being willing to allow that to happen. So thank you very, very much. I hope this was inspiring to everyone, and inspiring in a way that you recognize it starts with all of us, and just give it a go, and allow love, light, peace to be here now in everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Baby.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone.